14 years old, I became involved in a public scandal of a sexual character. I had not been ruined, as they say. The entire affair was entirely childish, but in 1896, families had rather rigid ideas. My mother handed me $1,000 in cash and a note from my father instructing me never to darken his door again. Since there was no possibility of becoming established in any work of legitimate nature in my hometown, I went to New Orleans, having always entertained a fantasy of living in a warm climate. I checked into the St. Charles Hotel and was almost immediately recognized by a fellow townsman who knew of my shame. Within an hour, everyone in the hotel knew of my situation, and the very same day, I received a note from a Miss Lottie Fisher requesting to call upon me. She said she had heard of my difficulties and could help me if I cared to avail myself of her aid. Now, I did not know Miss Lottie Fisher, and I was comparatively innocent, but I was not so innocent to be unaware of the sort of aid that she was likely offering. Nevertheless, it flashed through my mind that if I was to have a reputation as a scarlet woman, I might as well become one, since that seemed to be the only direction that society permitted me, even though I still yet remained a virgin. I answered Miss Fisher's note, inviting her to call the following day, and she arrived looking quite the great lady. She had jet black hair and pale gray eyes, and I believe she was the loveliest and most charming woman I had ever seen. She was so pleasant about everything, I might have completely forgotten she was offering me a career in prostitution. She offered me the opportunity to visit her home and meet the girls with whom she said I should get on very well. I went later that week, and I found her house ornate, though not without taste, and I was introduced to the 4 girls who made up Miss Fisher's staff. I found them pretty, but a bit common. Later, I told Miss Fisher that I appreciated her interest, but I had decided to try and find my way as best I could. And she seemed disappointed, but remained very cordial and said that if I should change my mind, she'd be more than pleased to see me later. Once outside, I was rather shocked at myself. But I must admit, I felt a little devilish having been inside a house of ill repute, especially discussing employment. Now, in 1898, 2 years later, I again ran into Miss Lottie Fisher in Krause's department store. She appeared genuinely pleased to hear that I'd been able to make my way as a tutor for French-speaking children. And then she said, "It seems that each time I see you, I have a business opportunity to offer you, but it seems that you might just be the person to be interested in this. Could I come and visit you and discuss it?" And I said, of course, and I gave her my address, and we met later in the week. She said that she was investing in a new mansion on Basin Street, but the small house on Iberville was just too good to let go, and she was looking for a partner who could take care of the place and supervise the girls. I wouldn't have anything to do with the men, just collect rent. She made it sound like operating a nursery. Well, at this point, the district had become legal, and many people thought of district property as an investment. I just worried that I didn't have enough capital, but all she needed was $750, which was far less than I had left over from the $1,000 my family had given me. So my investment was $750, and here I was, in business for myself, and only 18 years old. That year I collected $2,000 in rent from the girls, and the following year Miss Fisher allowed me to buy out her share for another $750. Meanwhile, Lottie and I had become good friends. I often dropped in on her at her place on Basin Street for tea. I still hadn't had a thing to do with men, either in the district or otherwise. I might have welcomed a proper suitor, but my strange place in society made most I could have had undesirable, and I had little opportunity to meet anyone else. So Lottie told me of a man she thought I might enjoy meeting. He was a real gentleman, very powerful in politics. And he had seen me going in and out of Lottie's from time to time, so I agreed to allow her to make introductions, and I went driving with him on a Sunday. We became very, very good friends, and eventually we became partners in quite an excellent property, which I managed until 1917, when the district was closed by law.